Hey everyone, we're going to get started here in about 30 seconds. Just wanted to get on here, get some people on here, and then we'll get rolling. We have a lot to cover tonight. So we'll start in about 20 seconds. It's 7 o'clock and it's time to begin. Good evening, my fellow Michiganders. Good evening, my fellow Americans. So we have a lot to cover tonight, and I've always said for all of you, ever since the beginning, I was always going to care for you, give you up-to-date, accurate, and truthful information with what I have in front of me today. And then I was going to activate all of you so we can continue to come up with the solutions by who? We the people, not the government. The solutions can only come from who? We the people. So we will continue to be transparent, honest, and always will be the lantern in the darkness of today's challenges. So first things first, are we in a pandemic currently? Actually, no. We're in an epidemic. The data is in. The WHO, the CDC, and the European CDC confirms that the data shows that we are at epidemic levels. Now, what's the difference? Pandemic is global, epidemic is regional. And that's where we're at right now. So why do they want to continue to throw the word pandemic? Well, number one is to make you fearful. Number two is so they can continue to have control. All right? So we have always said this from the very beginning. The governor, with her narrative from the beginning, was to flatten the curve, cases and deaths, and now it has evolved into cases. So why haven't we heard about the deaths? Well, because the deaths, because they're dropping so fast, we have reached basically seasonal baseline averages. So what does that mean? Well, that means this is normal now. The deaths that are happening is what happens every season. So the deaths are starting to be non-existent, but we don't hear that. And we always know, we've said this from the get-go. We've predicted this narrative ever since the beginning. The more we test, what's going to happen is the more cases that we're going to have. But what is so ironic about this is in the beginning, that's all the governor talked about was cases and deaths, cases and deaths, cases and deaths. It was crammed down our throat in every press conference. But we don't hear the deaths anymore. We don't. It's not even mentioned. Don't you think, as a leader, that is something to celebrate? Why isn't she coming on every single day and talking about how our deaths are non-existent, that we did it? Because it doesn't support the narrative. Because we're all starting to see what the political agenda is with this governor. So today, again, talked about cases. That's all she threw out there. Then she even started to compare us to Florida. So again, we talked about this with leadership. Leaders are designed to inspire, to motivate, to bring out the best in people. Tyrants lead by force. Tyrants lead by fear. And so that is what, again, she did today. She led with fear, comparing us to Florida. We have to mask up, even our children, because we don't want to end up like Florida. We cannot afford to play fast and loose with the rules. Look what's happening in Florida, direct quote, Governor Whitmer. So let's talk about Florida. She stated that they went from 100,000 to 200,000 cases, 11,000 in one day, and that's true. Well, if we compare the first 100,000 to the next 200,000, there's a remarkable difference. According to First Coast News, ABC News out of Jacksonville, and I quote, as Floridians' COVID cases rise, deaths are down 82% and hospitalizations are down 79% when comparing the two. Meaning what? People are getting it. They're getting sick. Some of them are not even showing signs and symptoms, but the majority of the people aren't even going to the hospitals. The majority of the people are not even dying. And so she's not giving us the entire truth. She is giving her truth based off her own narrative, trying to control you, trying to keep you in fear. So let's talk about the Diamond Lake, Cass County picture with what happened over the July 4th. And also I just learned that the Michigan Attorney General is going to handle prosecutions from Large Diamond Lake. The organizers of that party, the AG is going to go after them. So let me show you the party. I got the video right here, and I'm going to see what these doctors have to say about this party. So here it is.
Dozens of young adults packed in dancing at the lake sandbar. It appears there was no social distancing and not a mask in sight. The video went viral, racking up more than 9 million views and counting. When you saw it, what was your reaction to that?
Wow. You know, they're having a lot of fun, but they're throwing social distancing out the window.
The video caught the attention of the local health department, who said it was concerning. Dr. Larry Weil says the amount of people there would make contact tracing extremely difficult, if not impossible.
Go ahead and pick one of those persons on the video and say, okay, that person is infected, and let's look at who would be within 6 feet of him. And then you go, wow, how do you trace down those people?
The video also caught a lot of flack online. St. Joseph County's Deputy Health Officer, Dr. Mark Fox, tweeting, "Looks like we'll be busy over the next few weeks." Another person editing the beach ball out.
Okay. All right. So they weren't social distancing. They were having fun, right? So let's talk about the narrative. They had medical professionals coming on there. Hey, we're going to be busy over the next 2 weeks. How dare they? The AG is bringing down her hammer, and she's going to prosecute. She's going to prosecute the organizers. But what happened on June 4th? What happened on June 4th, ladies and gentlemen? And you could say, well, some of those people are wearing masks. You say, yep, same protest. I rest my case. The data doesn't lie. People, you have to wake up. And that's one thing when you watched her press conference, before when she would give a press conference and you used to watch it online, the comments, 75 to 80% of the comments were for the governor. That was several months ago. Now, if you look at those comments, 70 to 75% of them are against her. The silent majority has had enough. Why? Because when you put the truth in front of people, people will start to figure it out, right? It starts to be common sense. In the beginning, we were like, yeah, we have to quarantine. We have to do what we need to do. But man, as it started to go forward and these decisions were starting to be made, people started to second guess some things. But it's not over. I have a lot more to cover. So she came out today, start talking about bias training for healthcare professionals. If that wasn't a slap in the face to every healthcare professional out there, basically saying that you are not trained enough and educated enough, and you need extra training for Black Americans and how to deal with their cases. This isn't the 60s. This is now. And if that didn't offend you like it offended me, you don't have a heartbeat. Because we have continuing ed, I know as a chiropractor, it's called ethics and boundaries. That's what we take. Every 2 years, we take that class. So in my short history with politics, I'm going to let you know in my perception, when these politicians start getting in the corner and they feel the pressure, they always pull what? The race card. They always pull that to keep us divided because they know when we're united, regardless of what color of skin you are, because if you cut every single one of us, we bleed red, regardless of what political affiliation you are part of. Because I've already seen on these videos that Democrats are really upset that she's doing the things that she's doing, and they are regretting voting for her. And I invite you all to come over to Stand Up Michigan, because we will take you. We want all the old school Democrats. We want all the JFKs of the group to come over, because you stand for that piece of paper that our forefathers were inked. So I want to say this to the governor right now. If you want us to do bias training, that's fine. We'll do it. And if that's what we need to do to continue to be licensed to practice in the state of Michigan, we'll do it. Then I want to ask you to do this, Governor. If you're going to make us do bias training, then I strongly encourage you to do bias and sensitivity training for politicians who use executive orders to put COVID elderly patients into nursing homes, resulting in the death of almost 2,000 Michiganders. And if you look at the total deaths of Michigan right now, 6,271, that's almost 31% deaths. And she was quoted as saying today, masks for everyone in enclosed spaces, including stores. And I quote, at the end of the day, it is on all of us to do our part to educate the people around us, whether it is in a store or in a household or in a neighborhood or in a workplace. We got to implore one another to step up and do the right thing. Michiganders are smart. We are tough, and we can figure it out how to do it politely, but also, she ended with this, but also forcefully. She said that to implore one another to step up and do the right thing, to figure it out, to do it politely, but also forcefully. She went on to say, if we don't consent, and I quote the governor, then we are considering if we need to take this a step further to strengthen compliance. Did you just threaten us, Governor? Did you just threaten Michiganders? Did you just threaten Americans? Because that sounded very familiar to me. This quote from King George III, once vigorous measures appear to be the only means left of bringing the Americans to a due submission to the mother country, the colonies will submit. We Michiganders, we as Americans have been promised by our Creator unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Governor, your decision over the last 3 months has proven to all of us that you are a direct threat to those very words that were inked by our forefathers. We are coming for that 1945 law. We are coming for the law that gives you your powers. You're not going to have this for long. I will live and breathe this thing until it is accomplished. Because when we have an elected official making these unilateral decisions and telling the citizens we can do it politely, but we can also do it forcefully, I dare you to come up and do it forcefully to me. I dare you to come up and do it forcefully to my children. It's not going to happen. It will not. So to all of you right now, obviously, you're getting a different side of me tonight, because when we have an elected official say these words to the Michigan people, to say these words to the American people, it is time for us all to stand up. It is time for all of you to take action. We need the repeal of that 1945 law. And here's the good news, folks. The sooner we get it done, the sooner it happens. We do not have to wait the 180 days for this to take place. So as soon as we get those 360,000 signatures and they're verified, it goes forward. And we all can get this done. We all can go back to our lives in liberty and the pursuit of happiness. So in the description of this video right now is a call to action for every single one of you. Number one, I want you to share this live right now. At the bottom corner of this picture of that you're seeing on your phone, you can share it to your timelines. We have to get this word out. Share it to everybody. Number two, if you haven't already, go to our Facebook group, Stand Up Michigan to Unlock Michigan. That is where we're going to have communication with all of you to get this petition drive done. If you're not on Facebook or your relatives and friends and family aren't on Facebook, they can go register at unlockmichigan.com/Stand Up Michigan. It's also in this description. Share it with everybody. We need this done because these words are going down a different path that we've never heard before. It's starting to get forceful. You can see where this is going. We can take away her power. We can get the balance of our government back. You can't just sit on the tracks anymore, because if you sit on the right track, if you're not moving, you'll get run over. It is time for all of you to stand up. It's time for all the business owners to stand up. If you don't want to wear a mask in your business, and if you don't want your customers to wear a mask in your business, that is your right. That is your right. And if you don't want to go into a store that has that type of policy because you feel unsafe, that is also your right. Don't go to that store if you feel unsafe. But that is your right, business owners. You do not have to mask up. You do not. It's time to fight back and stand up, especially when the data doesn't support her decision making. The deaths are going away. The reason the cases are going up because they're testing more, but the hospitalizations continue to be low. People are living through this. We're starting to get herd immunity. So you can see the narrative of what's going on. Stand up. We can do this together. We can do this in the next 60 days. I firmly believe it. If we activate every single one of you tonight and you signed up on our Facebook group in unlockmichigan.com/standupmichigan that's in this description, we'll activate you. They're going to send you petitions. If each one of us that's watching this video, that will watch this video, will go out and sign up 40 people they know, we'll get this done in 30 days. We don't even need the 180. We will get it to 30 days. And I hope what you heard from the governor, if you watched the press conference today, I hope what you heard from me tonight will stir something in your heart to fire up your soul, to understand that you can no longer sit in the shadows. You can't, because you're starting to see what's at stake. You are. Activate yourself now. Join the movement. Be a part of history. Because I won't quit on you, and we will get this done. God bless you. God bless the state of Michigan, and God bless these United States. I'll talk to you all soon.